If you've ever wanted to turn your app idea into a real product faster than ever before, this video is for you. Today, I'm going to show you how to use Google Stitch to generate a user interface, and then we're going to refine that user interface, that is the design generated by Google Stitch. We're going to turn it into something functional, something dynamic by making use of Lovable. So if you are new to the channel, make sure you like, make sure you subscribe, and with that, let's get straight into the tutorial. So to get started with this tutorial, all you need to do is to head over to stitch.withgoogle.com/create, and then when you arrive on this page, you might need to be asked to create a new account, or you will need to create a new account to get started with this. And then you should also know that Stitch is still in beta stage, so we are still expecting more refinement from the Google team to make it better and more effective. But for now, we're going to work with the current version, which, like I said, is still in beta mode, and we're going to build something for the web. So currently it's selecting app by default, but I'm going to click on web, and now you can see the placeholder changed to what desktop web experience shall we design. I'm going to make this prompt as short as possible. What I want to create is very simple. It's going to be a bug tracker application, so that's what I'm going to type in the prompt. So I'm going to allow Stitch to use its own creativity to come up with something I'm going to allow Stitch to come up with something I believe should be good enough for us to work with. So without wasting much time, let's enter the prompt. So as you can see, I just told Google Stitch to create a design for a bug tracker application. So I'm going to click on send, and before I do that, you can see the various AI engines available to us. Currently by default we have 3 Flash, and when I scroll below, you can see we have Ideate, we have Redesign, we have Thinking with 3.1 Pro. So we're going to stick with this Flash 3.0, and I'm going to click on send. You should also know that you can use a design system. You can also attach a screenshot. Probably you have a Figma design you want to use to help Stitch generate something that is even much more unique. So without wasting much time, let's click on the generate button. As you can see, the design is being generated for us by Stitch, and it's creating a new issue, and it's trying to come up with a design. And I think this should not take a lot of time. This should be done in a moment, but I'm going to pause the video, and when it's complete, I'm going to continue from there. So as you can see, Stitch is saying, I'll start by establishing a professional high productivity design system, and then I'll get to work on these screens. Does this plan sound good to you? So I have some default response already at the top, like something like a chip. This says yes, proceed with the plan, add a my task screen to the list, and then another one says make it dark. I'm not able to scroll to the next. I think this continues further than this, but I'm not able to scroll for some reasons. I think that's something the Stitch team needs to look into, but I'm going to select yes, proceed with the plan. You might as well just type something you want. It still works the same way. I can as well type yes, and it's going to continue the design system generation. So it's adding some finishing touches to the design. So once again, I'm going to pause, and then once it's done, I'm going to continue from there. So as you can see, it has generated a design system. So I'm going to grab the hand. I'm going to grab the hand icon we have over here, which is also called a pan, for me to be able to move the screen for us to see clearly what design system it has come up with. So it's called the Forge Sentinel. It's also applying this design system to the screens. It's going to generate 4 screens for us. As you can see, we have 0/4. So while we're waiting for the generation to complete, as you can see, this is the first screen, this is the second screen, this is the third screen, which is already coming up a little bit, and then this is the final implementation. So I'm going to scroll back to the first set of slides, still getting generated. As you can see, we have 1/4. So once it's up to 4/4, I'm going to continue from there, but for now I'm going to pause the video once again. As you can see, when we check the left hand side of the screen, Stitch says, I've finished designing the core screens for your bug tracker application. You can now see the dashboard, issue lists, issue details, and create new screens on the canvas. All following the professional Forge Sentinel design system. How do this look? to you. I'm happy to refine any of them or add more features as needed. So I'm going to increase the zoom. I'm going to zoom in a bit more so that we can see the design system that was created by Google Stitch. So you can see this is the first screen of the bug tracker application. You can see we have the dashboard, we have the issue list, the projects, and then the settings. So everything is right here. I think this design is very intuitive and should be easy to use. You have a plus button that says create a new bug, and then we have an advanced filter system. So for the next screen, I think that is something similar as well. The sidebar remains the same. Okay, it's showing the different pages actually. So this is the issue list page. This is the dashboard, which summarizes all the active issues that have been created. Then this is also another issue list page, and so these are the 4 options that we have. So this is to create a new issue. So I think I'm happy with the design I'm seeing. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna export the code, and then I'm gonna generate a prompt from Claude, and that prompt is gonna enable us to work with Lovable so that we can enter the prompts into Lovable. So what I'm gonna do is before I export the code, I want to show you some other things. With this design, you are able to share, and you're able to enable sharing and remixing. So all you have to do is to turn on the toggle button, and then you copy the link, and then you share with probably anyone you want to have access to the project. So I'm gonna close this actually, and then another option is you can export, but you need to select a screen before you export. So for instance, let's say we select this screen, and then I click on export. You can see you can export it as a Figma file. You can export it to Jules. You can export it as a .zip file, and you can even copy to clipboard. You can export to an MCP server. You can copy it as a project brief, and you can copy it as, you can export it as an instance prototype, which is newly added, as you can see beside the instant prototypes text. So I'm going to close that. Another thing is you can also view it in preview mode. If I click on new tab, it's going to open up the design in a new tab. I think this is very, very helpful. It allows you to be able to give a full review of the design, as you can see when the page opens. So you can view it in desktop, you can view it in a tab, you can view it in mobile version. So the screen is yet to come up. And even more impressive is the fact that you can also open a direct link. So if I click direct link, is going to open it like a web page where we can view it as if we are viewing a website. So I'm going to reload the page, and as you can see, we can view the page as if we are viewing a website. So as you can see, we have the left hand side of the dashboard. So we have the other properties, and then you can see this like very up close, which I think it's very important. It allows you to decide if this is the design you want to use, and you can see the warning at the top that says this content was generated by a Stitch user. Do not enter sensitive information as it may be seen by the owner. So I head back to the Stitch design and the Stitch project, and I'm going to select one of these, which I'll export and then generate the code. So for now, I'm going to unselect, and then let's grab the hand or the pen. Is it pen? The pan rather. And then I'm going to scroll to this particular UI. I think I like what I'm seeing here. So I think everything we need is contained in this particular screen. So I'm going to select this screen, and then I'm going to click on more, and I'm going to click on view code. Like you can also copy to, in addition to exports, you can, when you click on the more button, you can also copy to Figma, because Figma allows you to copy and paste designs. You can also export and then download the design as well. And you can delete the screen if you are not happy with it, and modify it using the input box you see below after selecting. So for me, I'm going to click on more, and I'm going to click on view code. Then it's going to generate the code for me. So the code is being generated. So as you can see, this is the code to the design. So we have lots of CSS, and then we have the HTML within this code. So it's just HTML and CSS basically. And you can see it's making use of some fonts like Google fonts, and we have Tailwind as the design, so it's making use of Tailwind as well. So Tailwind is used to create the designs we are looking at in the mockup. So for me, I'm going to click on copy code. I'm going to head over to Claude, and I'm going to paste the code in Claude. So the code is now pasted in Claude. So what I'm going to tell my Claude. So what I'm going to tell Claude AI is help me generate a prompt to use in Lovable for a bug tracker application. I have pasted the design, the code for the design I want to use. I want Lovable to make this functional, and it can use local storage to persist the reported bugs. So the data persists when the user refreshes page. So basically what I just entered into my Claude input field is that I'm telling Claude to help me generate a prompt to use in Lovable for a bug tracker application. I have pasted the code for the design I want to use. I want Lovable to make this functional, and it can use local storage to persist the reported bugs so the data persists when the user refreshes the page. Basically what I'm trying to say is that I do not want to configure any database within Lovable because I think that will take more time. I believe you should be able to do that. You can make use of Supabase. Lovable creates two options. You can make use of Supabase, or you can make use of the inbuilt database integrated into Lovable. This is something that Lovable did of recent, where you don't need to make use of Supabase, and everything is configured within the Lovable application. So if you want to make use of either of those formats, you are free to do that. But for me, I'm going to make use of local storage. Local storage is just like storing data in the browser, so that when the user refreshes the page, the data still persists. And this is for educational purpose. So that's why I'm doing this. So I'm going to click on enter, and I'm going to wait for Claude AI to generate the prompts for us to use in Lovable. So as you can see, Claude AI has promptly generated a prompt for us, no pun intended. And if you go through it, you can see that this is comprehensive enough, and I believe it should be able to, allow Lovable come up with exactly what we have in the design that we copied the code for. So I'm going to head back to to Claude AI. I'm going to copy the prompts, so it has the functionalities and all the required functionalities. So I'm going to copy that, and I'm going to paste it into Lovable. So I'm going to paste it, and then I'm going to tell Lovable to build this particular prompts for us. So while Lovable is building the prompts and coming up with the design, so I think I'm going to pause the video because this might also take a little bit of time. I don't know, it can depend on your network, depending on how fast your network. So it's going to take a little bit of time. So I'm going to pause the video, and I'm going to come back when the design is fully generated. So as you can see, this is the design Lovable came up with for us. So I'm going to open this in a new tab so that we can see this clearly, and then compare the designs and test out the bug tracker functionalities. So when we see the design over here, I'm supposed to use the pan to drag it to move it within view. So when we compare the design with the one Lovable generated, you can see it's very, very close in terms of what it came up with. You can see we have a search input field at the top, just like we have in the design Stitch came up with. Then we have the new bug button, which is over here, the notification icon. We have a notification icon. Then on the left hand side of the menu of the dashboard, we have the dashboard, issue list, projects, and settings. So same we have over here, dashboard, settings. I mean, you can change this text within Lovable. It's not something that is very difficult. You can make it exactly this, but I think Lovable also came up with some creativity of its own. And then within the bug report, you have total issues, critical priority, resolved, and then you have the same thing here, mean fix time, or mean time to fix, resolved, critical priority, and total issues. And then we have a table showing all the list of issues, just like we have over here. So I think, and then there's a pagination at the bottom, so you can also add pagination, which is also at the bottom. I'm going to close this Lovable icon, and if you have extra issues, you can also go to the next page. So I think Lovable has done a very, very good job for us. So the next thing is for us to test if the new bug functionality works. I'm going to click on new bug, and I'm going to say I'm going to enter a brief summary of the issue, page not reloading, and then I'm just going to copy this and paste it a couple of times, and then I'm going to set the priority to high, the status to open, the assigning name, I'm going to assign it to myself, which is, my name is Deji, and then I'm going to click on create issue. So I can see this is the issue over here, and we can edit the issue. The data persists because, like I said, I'm not using any database. I'm making use of local storage. That means if I should refresh this page, I believe the page not reloading should still show. You can see we still have the data despite the fact that I reloaded the page. So I can tell Lovable to get rid of all these other placeholder bugs, which I was not the one that created, because when I created a new bug, you can see that it says total of 5 issues. And rather, instead of telling Lovable to do that, let's delete the rest. So I'm going to delete this. I'm going to delete this. I'm going to delete this as well as this. So now we have just one issue. And then I'm going to refresh the page. Let's see the number of issues that we have. You can see we still have just one issue despite the fact that I reset the page. So I'm making use of local storage to persist this. But if you want to make this go into production, ideally you might want to make use of a database, and you can either make use of Lovable's database, which is inbuilt. Like if you click on the cloud, and then it's going to come up with a new section where you can set up, enable cloud, and then set up your backend, where you have the database, storage, authentication, and then backend logic that you might want to use. You can also add LLMs. You can also track the usage of your application. So all you need to do is just click on enable cloud. Probably I'll do a tutorial on how to make this functional. If you want that, you can drop a comment in the section if you want that. If not, you can also make use of Supabase to implement the backend. So we've been able to make use of Google Stitch for the design. We came up with the prompts that we use for Lovable in Claude AI, and then finally we implemented the design using Lovable by making it more dynamic and functional. So for the rest of the pages, you can also tell Google Stitch to come up with the rest of the design in terms of maybe the settings page, the projects page, and then paste the code on Claude.ai, and then tell Claude to generate the prompt for you. Then enter the prompt in Lovable and you are good to go. So if I click on my credits, I started with 5 credits, so you should know I'm using a free plan. So I started with 5 credits, and that prompt only made use of half of the credit that I have, which is 5 credits. So I'm left with 2.5 credits. So that shows how much you can do with Lovable even on the free plan, although I might need to wait for 24 hours after exhausting this credit. So that's all for this tutorial. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll catch you again in the next one.